When real men can't sleep, real men do the news, ever vigilant. You know, if you have insomnia, might as well use it for something, right? And I, all things being equal, would prefer to be productive. That's my double Virgo at work. Well, I'm going to also show my Aries moon, which is somewhat of a hard dog to keep on the porch when dealing with stuff like this. I pay attention to politics too much, and I've been acutely focused on what has been taking place regarding the coronavirus and the damage and the havoc that it's been causing. That has made me somewhat scornful of certain political behavior that I don't particularly like. That could be everything from not backing policies that are in the best interests of your constituencies and, for that matter, the country as a whole, or engaging in this kind of political theater when really you have real material concerns within a population that need to be attended to. I'm going to show you a bit of political theater that's making the rounds. And people have been championing Nancy Pelosi for this bit of political theater. They've been like, rah, rah, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has showed him. Nancy Pelosi ruined Donald Trump. All of these different things. I think I've used torch. It was absolutely funny. By the same token, it is not funny what this distraction is basically hiding. Welcome to the soapbox. Welcome to a late night, early morning soapbox. My name is Jamal Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, and subscribe. You can always support this content through PayPal or Patreon. This content is brought to you by you, and I thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to do it. Now, a video has been making the rounds. Now, people have been laughing at this video. And like I said, the video is funny. I mean, you know, Nancy Pelosi is making a fat joke. But it's targeted at Donald Trump, so nobody cares that it's a fat joke. Be scornful of this. Be scornful of this. There are things that you want to get accomplished from a policy perspective. Those things are widely popular. Those things are in the best interest of the population. The population agrees with you that those things are in the best interest of the population. And these people are against it. Our government no longer works. I am no longer engaging in this game of investing myself into a political system that does not work and that shows a tin ear to what the public wants. Nancy Pelosi is the front person for this political system that turns a tin ear to what the public wants. Let's take a look at the video, and I want to explain my issue.
Madam Speaker, what's your reaction to the president saying that he's now taking hydroxychloroquine?
He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So I think it's not a good idea.
Morbidly obese. So she feigns support, like, oh man, I would prefer the president not take that stuff. I mean, it's not medically approved, especially for his age group, and you know, he's morbidly obese. Now, adding the morbid makes it funny. To me, anyway. The president of the United States is morbidly obese. Now, while Nancy Pelosi is on television doing that, making that announcement, this is taking place, and I'll go through it fast. 33.5 million jobs up in smoke. And that number, the unemployment number, is higher than that because all of the job unemployment benefits haven't been processed. Understand, in many of these places, people have not been getting the unemployment benefits despite the fact that this money was supposed to be dispersed. There's some people who are being disadvantaged more than others. Those people back the Democratic Party to the tune of 91%, even on a random blue, no matter who, candidate. Yes, it was higher with Obama, but still 91%. That particular community is taking the brunt, and Nancy Pelosi is lapping it up here as opposed to dealing with that. And when I say dealing with that, we have what the Democratic Party represents because they made it into a bill. And in that particular bill, what did they do? They scaled back college, meaning the amount of money they were going to get rid of college costs, and they refused to implement Medicare for all, even Medicare for all with coronavirus, choosing instead to dump a bunch of money into health insurance companies. Nancy Pelosi passed a $3 trillion bill. In that $3 trillion bill, there were no direct payment support as offered by Jay Paul, a loan or a ban on most mergers for the duration of the crisis, an allocation by the International Monetary Fund for special drawing rights to support the needs of emerging markets, an expansion of the federal health insurance program, basically Medicare for all, funding for proper congressional oversight of the COVID-19 response, including funding for congressional committees, and funding for congressional modernization and support of remote deliberation and technology modernization. They also wanted continued monetary relief, meaning direct payments. Now, what did the Democratic Party say about this? They, Nancy Pelosi, Democratic elders, made explicit choice not to include these. Pelosi's bill had no chance of getting passed. They admit as much in the Politico article. And as such, they had every potential to put whatever they wanted in regards to represent their priorities. The bill was just a showpiece. They explicitly left out progressive priorities. And let's be very clear, the progressive priorities were the ones that would have directly, materially benefited the majority of the population for the longest period of time during the course of this particular pandemic. Those were left out of this bill. Lefties backed the bill anyway. Now, before this hit, 53 million workers were making low wages. That accounts for basically 44% of the population of the United States make low wages, have low wage jobs. This significant portion of the nation's labor force is earning a median hourly wage of $10.22 an hour and a median annual earning of $17,950. That wasn't magic policy. Obama gave 95% of the income to the top 1%. That's what a Democrat did. Whatever chaos is taking place right now from the standpoint of Trump, let's be very clear. Pelosi, her cronies, the Democratic Party were all responsible, hand in glove with Republicans, in tearing this country down to the point of this, where the middle class is just being utterly and entirely eviscerated. $17,000, and you have 44% of the workforce. You shouldn't be lapping it up here. And the media shouldn't necessarily be lapping this up. They should be focusing on the issues that matter to the American public. 3 in 10 adults have no emergency savings, with 74% living paycheck to paycheck. Well, that's a problem, especially when you hit the skids and you find that 30-something% have no savings at all, and the overwhelming majority don't have $500 in the bank. That's a problem. That's a fundamental systemic problem in the way your society is organized, either from the standpoint of economic disparities, creating health disparities, or from the standpoint of just every human beings hitting economic distress and financial distress while they were already under strain. So yeah, Nancy Pelosi, lap it up. Make jokes about the president being fat. You're so funny. Be scornful of this party. They are not doing their jobs. Doing their jobs would have been putting out Medicare for all. Doing their jobs would have been eliminating student debt. And to make that point that much more clear, this is the polling on Medicare for all. 69% of registered voters, 88% of Democrats. Are you Democrats or not? Here's another one. 58% of registered voters say they support a proposal that would make public colleges and universities and trade schools free, or tuition free. The same group said they would back eliminating student debt. 72% of Democrats back getting rid of student debt. And yet, when the party was asked about why they even scaled down the modest proposals that they were putting forth to get rid of $10,000 of student debt, They basically said, well, look, it got too expensive. And because it got too expensive, we didn't want to pay the money required in order to do that issue that the majority of the party agrees with. Same thing with Medicare for All. We didn't want to spend the money to do what the majority of the party agrees with. Even direct payment checks, which would have been directly beneficial to all of those people who are already in economic distress. And what did they say? We did not want to pay the money to directly give paychecks as a stimulus. Heroes my ass. Heroes act my ass. Like, share, and subscribe.